Hello everyone, welcome back again to Angela's Craft Room. Today I've got this card for you using the Heartland stamp set. So this is the Heartland stamp set, and for my original card on this one I've used the tractor and the little dog. With the card today I'm going to just use this image with the little boy and the ducks or geese, whatever they are. We're going to use that. And then with the original sentiment, it came from the stamp set Truly Tailored, and it was this one. Today we're going to use this one. Today is your day, celebrate in style. So that's the one we're going to use today. Still from Truly Tailored, but it's got a lot of really great sentiments for mail cards. So they're the stamp sets I've used. And then we're also going to use the background stamp Hardwood. So I'll show you how I use that as well. So we'll get started. So to start with, I'm going to be using Night of Navy for my base card. So as usual, that's 11 inches long by 4 1/8 of an inch wide and scored at 5.5 inches. And then I've already cut a piece of photocopy paper, which is 5 1/4 inches by 3 7/8 of an inch, and I just stamped the little boy down the bottom there, and I'm just going to put that inside the card. So I did tell you a little while ago, because I make so many cards, unless it's for an order, I've started just using photocopy paper inside my card. But if it's an order, I would use cardstock. So then we're just going to pop that inside the card, still giving people plenty of room to write their thoughts inside there. So that's the inside of your card done. Okay, so then we need a piece, just grab some grid paper, and this is where we're going to do our background stamp. And how I do this is I bring this across and just need to grab some. Sorry about that. One thing I did forget to get was the Early Espresso stamp pad. So what I do there is we will also need a piece of Whisper White, which measures 5 1/4 inches by 3 7/8 of an inch. Then I'm just going to take the Early Espresso and just stamp up the Hardwood background stamp set. And because this is just such a huge stamp, I just find this is the easiest way to get a really good background. So then we are going to place down on there. Then I'm just going to take a piece of photocopy paper and just rub that all over. Lift that off. And then you've got your lovely background. So see, that's just so easy to do it that way. So that's going to be our background. It's up to you which way. I think I like it this way. I like that knot being on that side. And then what you need to do, we have cut out 2 pieces using the stitch shape framelits. They're the 2 largest circles. The largest circle is in Night of Navy and the small one is in Whisper White, which you can see that I've already stamped and coloured just to save a little bit of time. But I'll just let you know what colours I used. So for his overalls I used Night of Navy, just the very light stamping blends. So it's the stamping blends that I colour with, and I've just used the light Night of Navy on the overalls with a little bit of Daffodil Delight on his cuff at the bottom. Then, because they're walking through a few puddles, I've just put a little bit of Pool Party around there. And I've also added Pool Party around the edge just to take the whiteness off of the image. And then for his skin, I've just used Ivory. And then the ducks, I've used Crumb Cake, and only the big ducks on this side, I have used both the light Crumb Cake and the dark Crumb Cake. And I just used the light Crumb Cake on the little ducks here. And last of all, I just used the Old Olive on the tufts of grass. So it's just so you aren't bored watching me colour. And then we're just going to add some dimensionals. So you don't have to have, I've said this before, you don't have to have the stamps that I'm using. You can just use whatever you've got on hand, and you might like to use the layout I've used, or you might like to use one of the techniques. That's entirely up to you. I'm just trying to give you some ideas how you can make your cards. So then I'm just going to place that on the Night of Navy. Press that down. Then I've just got a scrap piece of Night of Navy, and I had a Whisper White at which I've cut the sentiment on there. Now what I'm going to do with the sentiment, I'm going to curl it. So I'm going to curl it one way, that way, and then this way I'm going to curl it up. It's just breaking the fibres, and it's just going to sit up on your card a little bit. So it's going to sit up like that. So what I might do is grab the light Pool Party stamping blend, and I'm just going to go round the edges. So you can see I'm just and you don't have to do this. This is just something I like to do. Just adds a bit of colour on the edges of your sentiment. And you could have easily done that in Night of Navy as well, but Night of Navy is a very dark colour, so you've got to be a bit careful with it. So because this is curved up, what I need to do is put some dimensionals under there. Now I need to put at least 2 on top of each other, because it fills in the gap, and I might even put 3. It just fills in the gap where I've curled it, so it'll sit up nicely on your card. It's just something I like to do. Yeah. And then I'll just put 1 just down that end. And then we're just going to place that on the Night of Navy. So you wanted that to stay curled up, and so you can see, because I curled it, you do need those 3 dimensionals on top of each other to keep that curl. Okay, so that's just another little way you can add dimension to your card. So then we're going to get our base card, and I'm going to pop the background stamp on there with some Tombow liquid glue. I really like this Heartland stamp. I think it's a really lovely stamp set. It's really great for those mail cards. So I want that notch to be on that side, and then I'm just going to pop that straight as I can. It's a good thing with the Tombow glue, I can move it a little bit. So then we're just going to press it down, even turn it over, and just do that. And then we've got our lovely background, hardwood background, and then we're going to pop our image on there, and just see where you want it to actually sit on your card. So I think about there, so just under that little knot there, I'll just put my tweezers, that's where I want it to sit. So then I'm just going to add some Tombow glue. Yeah, and I am adding a little bit because I want it to be able to let me move it if it's not exactly where I want it. So I still want him to be straight, and before he dries, that's just going to go on there. So that's going to be where I want it. So I'm just going to press down. You can see that it's moving a little bit, so it's still letting me move it. So if it was crooked, it just gives you that time that you can move it to exactly where you want it. And then last of all, we just need to put the sentiment on. So it's a really easy card to make. It's just adding a little bit of dimension to your card. And just pop our glue away. So that's a really easy card for you today that you can go and give it a try yourself. So I hope you find those techniques I've used today helpful. So with the original one, I used the burlap background stamp too that I forgot to tell you. And I've done it in a landscape, the card in a landscape layout, whereas this one is in portrait, and I've used the the hardwood background stamp, and I like both of them. They're two of my favorite background stamps, especially when I'm doing my mail cards. So I hope that's helpful. Please subscribe to my channel and keep on watching, and I'll have some more videos coming your way very shortly. Until next time, happy crafting!